Now, I had the pleasure, the blessing. A lot of you would know who's been following our work for a while now. Uh, Last August time to be chosen, selected by Grandmaster Aksha, a Himalayan yogi, to go into mountains with him on training, to get the initiation and get the blessing of spiritual master title. And we went through a lot of training. And I know a bunch of you who have there's a bunch of you who have seen parts of the documentary. Is this correct? How many of you have seen parts of the documentary? Yeah. So you see, it's very the biggest part of the documentary was actually talking about day three. If you guys can remember in the documentary, because day three was the day where something something I never seen before, something I never experienced before. He was able to help open what people refer to as third eye. Third eye is the way out, is the gateway. When we do meditation, the deepest meditations we do is always third eye meditation. What keys, what doors, all of these things we usually do depending on where we want to go. So it's very freaky, very trippy first time you do it, because it's like, this is really weird. Like, I never even knew it looked like this, it exists like this, and that's what we do and what happens. And you just it's freaky. It's like you just dreamed. It's like that. But then when you go in again and again and again, then you know that shit, this is actually real. It exists, right? So that is the access. So with that, you need permission, access codes. We'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. That moment go out to finally be able to see. And bear in mind, I had already been speaking about law of attraction for 2 full years to millions of people around the world. So that was already my message. I was teaching law of attraction. To then suddenly, accidentally, randomly be chosen by a Himalayan yogi to go into the Himalayan mountains. And then suddenly, on one day, day three meditation, he tells me to sit there, look this way, roll eyes this way, roll tongue one way. Then suddenly, I didn't even know what was happening. Boom, I'm just somewhere else. And I'm looking at everything. And I'm like, this is weird. Like, all of this exists, and this is how it works, and this is how it happens. To see not only the journey of the universe, to see everybody around me's journey and my own journey of every single mistake that I've made in the past, and every shortcut I could have made, and everything that's for me in the future, and everything that's coming. To be able to see that is a shocking experience. So then, anyway, we come back every single day. We revisit. And I had to do a lot of checks, because if I didn't do if Grandmaster didn't carefully guide me through this, actually, I could have probably end up in a psych ward, to be honest, because every time I come back to human world, I would be speaking nonsense, you know? Do you know what just happened there? Oh my God, it was like we were energy and we are just pushing this thing, and then this energy was pushing against us, and then people are like, what's wrong with this dude, you know? But it's a good job that Grandmaster knew the journey. Obviously, for a human, it's very, very tough to understand at first. But one thing, it was only one thing, by the way, that allowed me to know it's real. And this was my biggest excitement. Those who have watched the documentary would have seen, like, some of you have done, anybody done our yoga challenges before? Yoga for manifestation. Okay. You've probably seen some yoga asanas that I do, which you are like, no way. Right? Well, those of you who watch the documentary will know that actually all of the ones you say no way, I was no way. I was way below flexibility. My only way at those beginning days to check in, to realize that I have not actually gone cuckoo and something is actually happening, is that we would be doing practice every single day in third eye dimension. We would come back I would look at the time, 20 minutes passed. Shocking. Why? Because when I was there, I felt like I was there for 2 weeks. I look at the time and say 20 minutes later. Then Grandmaster would say, okay, cool. Sun salutation, do this asana. Suddenly, I'll lift the leg up, then it'll be on the shoulder. And I'll be like, huh? Because 20 minutes before, it wasn't even coming close to the arm. So I'm like, wait there a second. This thing is pretty trippy. Because I started to relate every single movie I've ever watched, Inception, Avatar, Doctor Strange, Portal Travel, everything. And I was like, oh my God, all of this stuff is real. But the questions and inquiries I started asking and getting answers for is I said, wait there, I think that doesn't make any sense. I was only gone 20 minutes. How come now I can do all of this stuff? That's why every single thing you see me doing yoga, people think, oh, it's advanced yoga. Well, I learned in 20 plus days. It's not like, yes, a few weeks, you know, it's not like, but people say, no way, you've been practicing for years. I said, actually, the reality is I was practicing for years, but not here. People say, what do you mean? And I say, actually, forget about it. I don't even want to try. It takes me an hour just to explain this part. Now, I know for some of you, you'll be thinking, nah, I don't believe him. And I want to say something to all of you who don't believe. I don't need you to believe. I don't benefit anything from you believing. You believe, you don't believe, you still live your life. I live mine. I'm happy. You do your thing, you see? But I want you to understand one thing. It's not far-fetched. Knowing that time is different in the different dimensions is not far-fetched. You don't know, you never learn at school. When you go out to space, how's time there? When you go to space and you come back, how's time? Time is different, is it not? Is time the same in every dimension? You tell me. Is it the same in every dimension? It's not the same. You already know that because you learned it at school already. If you go to Mars, time is already different. The way you age is different. So already in this physical reality, what we know, we already know time is different in different dimensions. So why when we talk about going into different dimension and experiencing time, it's different. Why would we think it's a little bit crazy? It's not so crazy, actually. Everything that we do not know for sure, we will deem as crazy. But the part of the consciousness journey, the seeker's journey, is your ability to keep the mind open. Everybody take a deep inhale and slow exhale. Relax the mind. Why is any of this important to you? I'll tell you why. Nothing happens by accident in this world. Please start on your writing, then all of it will come together. Nothing happens by accident in this world. Nothing. Everything that you see as accident is because you can't make sense of it. Everything is calculated because if the universe can design you, something so sophisticated, how can you think it's so stupid to make accidents happen? It's calculated. If you think about everything you've manifested in your life so far, it's a series of events. It was not one simple thing. Oh, I thought about this thing. Wow, it was here. No, it wasn't. It didn't happen that way. It was a whole sequence of events. For everything, you know how things work. Has anybody here watched Benjamin Button before? Anybody watched that before? That movie, right? Have you watched that scene where they say he grabs the cab, then misses the cab, then when he misses the cab, then he meets the person, then when he meets the person, if any of those events didn't happen, the next thing wouldn't have happened. So it's just like that in your life. If you think of, I mean, it's not that far-fetched. If you think about the job you found last, or the partner you were with last, if you think of how you met them, it's actually the same thing. It was not like, I thought about it. Oh my God, he's in front of me. It didn't happen like that. It was a whole sequence of events that you can't even get down to where the core was. You don't even know what kicked it off in the first place. You met them through a friend. How did you meet the friend? If you didn't meet the friend, would you meet them? I met them through a friend. Not only that, at a Christmas party, but I wasn't supposed to go to that Christmas party because I was supposed to be at home. But that day, suddenly, my brother, my sisters decided they're going to their friends for parties, and I said, "What shall I do?" Then I met up with my friend. So if they didn't go, then I wouldn't go. Are you guys guessing what I'm saying? Nothing is like think like that. It's not. It's a whole sequence of organized events, and please write this down, because most of the events towards your greatest manifestations are not prepared by you, meaning it's out of your control. All you need to do is think about everything that's happened in your life. There is nothing. If you go down to the core, the roots of where it started, it wasn't you who created it. It wasn't you who made it happen. You'd like to think, obviously, it's nice to think that I made it all happen. But it was not. It was something else. Now I see some people writing about destiny and predestined. Okay. Now, destiny, predestiny is true, but there are multiples and multiples and multiples and multiples and multiples and multiples and multiples of predestiny written for you. So what does this mean? It means it's not a case of, well, if that's the case, then I might as well just sit on my ass and do nothing because it's the same anyway. No, it's not actually. A decision changes which dimension and which destiny. Just like if you play a computer game. In a computer game, there are only so many paths down the map you can go down. And which paths can you go down? The ones that the designer of the game designed. The ones that they didn't write, you can't go down. Are you getting what I'm saying? Right? If you're playing a game, if you're playing like Grand Theft Auto or something, suddenly there's a butcher shop there. And the butcher shop was just for aesthetic. You were supposed to just walk past it to do your job. You can't go in, chop the meat, and eat the meat. You get what I'm saying? Because they never designed that part. So meaning that part is not predestined for you. But how many destinies? There's so many destinies. So we still are a part of that negotiation of where we are going. So that's why. Who was that just said? Somebody just said that's why we are co-creators. Co-creators. That's why everything is in co-creation with the universe. Not just co-creation. Everybody take a deep inhale and slow exhale. You can call it co-creation, but how do you co-create? Let's say, for example, let's take Emmy and Diane. Okay. So we have Emmy and Diane on my screen. You're both together. Okay. So Emmy and Diane. Okay. So let's take Emmy and Diane a moment. And let's say Emmy and Diane are going to form a business co-creation. They're going to co-create a business together. Okay. Now, if that was the case, what must happen between Emmy and Diane for the co-creation to happen? Can anybody give me the word? We already said it just before. Not just communication. Communication is part of it. It's the negotiation. If Emmy doesn't like anything that Diane said, or Diane doesn't like anything that Emmy said, they will not co-create. Are you getting what I'm saying? So it's the way you communicate and negotiate. Now, here goes the big thing. Now we're getting to it. What does this mean? If you can co-create with the outside layer, which you can refer to as God or one of the gods, if you wish, or energy, you'll be very powerful because they can instantly make things happen with you. If you could co-create with, imagine, don't, by the way, don't just speak to water. That's one level. I'm saying you want to speak to the CEO, the one who is in charge of water, wind, earth, all the elements, right? Fire, they're in charge of all the elements. You want to speak to the CEO. You want to connect with the CEO. Why? It's because you connect with the CEO. You say, hey, by the way, my manifestation, I want this to happen. CEO's like, okay, well, what's the deal then? Right? What are you going to do for me? If I do this for you, what are you going to do for me? If you, would you guys like to know what the negotiation is, by the way? Would you like to know? We'll go into that. We'll get into that. So when the deal's right, then CEO will say, okay, cool. Got it. I got it sorted. I'll make it happen tomorrow. By the way, you can meet anyone you want. You can make any job happen. You can make anything happen. Do you know, even if you just take 5 elements alone, wind, water, fire, earth, you take space, you take these elements alone, do you know how much power is already within those energies? If they want somebody to stay at home, I give you wind. I give you more wind than ever before. You're going to stay at home. If I want you to accidentally leave something somewhere or drop something, again, I give you wind, I give you rain to make you fall over, I give anything. Accidents happen. Accidents. We call accidents. Has anybody here ever watched The Adjustment Bureau? No, and if you never watched Adjustment Bureau, watch Adjustment Bureau. That will give you a very, very accurate idea of this. They didn't give you anything. Then these accidents happen suddenly. Oh, that person collides. They do this. Then that person needs to go this place. Then suddenly they will arrange so that in 2 parts of the world, you two come together. And it can happen instantly. No need for your daily affirmations. Vision board. Read more books, watch more YouTube videos. No need for that. Because you speak to CEO. Much easier. They're outer layer. They got more power. You know how much hustle you need to do to get it happening in this world?